different flavor to this segment of practices maybe opposed to last weekend in terms of really being geared towards Michigan State a little bit more rather than kind of good on good, just kind of self-scout type stuff?
Yeah, that's the beauty of bowl prep. Really, you get those 13 to 15 practices, and you kind of build them any way you want. You know, early on, we kind of built it around a little bit of combination work between our defense and some base looks, like basically like a camp practice, and then now you transition into a opponent practice, which started today. And I think we did a good job of mixing in the last couple of weeks, kind of a little bit of what they do versus in conjunction with what our defense does, and so that sometimes can get hard. But I think it was really good. And then today was a pure Michigan State focus.
What are your impressions of that defense? What are you trying to point your guys on the big keys?
Yeah, really good defense. I mean, obviously, led by some really good players. The Williams, the nose tackle, and Bocce, the Mike linebacker, being first and second, third team all conference guys. Willicks at the defensive end. Obviously Lane a question mark at corner, and Dowd at free safety, and those guys do a really nice job. You're talking about some experienced guys who are well coached, play hard, coming from a good culture there, a bowl culture. A team that's been around a long time and had a lot of success. So. Going to be a great test. They play really good football, physical brand of football, which we pride ourselves on and trying to get to that. And I think it's going to be really fun.
When you're going against the best run defense in the country, Marcus, how much does that impact your own game planning, expectations of what your run game? I mean, you obviously have confidence in yourself, your guys, but they are the best run defense in the country and have been for a while. So.
Yeah, no, that it's like I said, when you got a group like that up front, I mean, led by first, second, third team, all conference guys with experience and playing in a hard-nosed brand of football, that shows up on tape. I think when you go into game planning it, you got to be right. And our guys are looking at guys who are in their gap, who are sound, who play good, disciplined football with their hands and feet and leverage, pad level. It's great for us coaches because we get to really coach all the details of what we need to get done to be able to create an advantage. And I think it's going to be good. They do a really nice job in the run game, and we got to find our strokes in there and then play ball.
That much bigger to have Panay back for this one with Willicus on one end.
Yeah, and he moves. Willicus moves in some other packages. So you'd like to say you knew where he's at every time, but having Panay back's a big component of what we've done moving forward this year. Really nice to have him back. And so I think, him plugging him back in the offensive line, we saw what kind of production he had early in the season before getting injured, and nice to have him back.
What does it help has it been for recruiting and for game planning to not have to do both like you had to do last year ahead of the Vegas Bowl, close to now, about a month?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything tougher than that last year. I mean, between a coaching change, a bowl game, and signing day, no weekend, early signing period, I mean, that's about as a tornado as you can get as a coach. I don't know if I've ever had that happen, but it was nice to have an opportunity to be on the road, work through our guys, work a nice calendar schedule for a bowl game, and then come through signing day and now have some good quality work. I don't. My hat's off to the teams that unfortunately have to do that. It was last week's game. But that's it. We looked forward to this week, and kind of changing gears on our note.
What was it about Cale that you identified as the QB you wanted in this class?
There's probably not one thing. There's not one identifying thing. I think it's a multitude of things. It's no different than when we evaluate any of our guys in this class. There's a whole bunch of traits that he's got. First of all, off the field, he's got great DNA. He's a great in the classroom, smart kid, loves football. Hard worker, has a lot of attention to detail, and a lot of things he does. Has great mannerisms. Talked to a lot of people in the area up there. A lot of people he's around. He's infectious. And then when you turn the tape on, obviously you see a bunch of really nice things in the way that he plays football, takes care of the football, high completion percentage. The way his body's built, he's going to be a longer, rangier guy. He's deceptively athletic. I mean, you're talking about a 40-inch vertical and still ability to move around and escape and make second plays. And again, he's a football junkie. He loves to compete. He loves football, and I think that's a really critical component in what we want in our DNA.
Being in that position where you're only going to get one guy, it's a little different than others. I mean, you can go get 5 receivers if you miss someone. I mean, if that quarterback, you've got to kind of find your guy and identify which one's going to fit you right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody else who took 2 quarterbacks. We knew we were going to take one, but I don't think anybody really wants to miss at that position. It's hard to say you want to. You might take an athlete at that position and then take a guy you really can't miss as a pure passer. I've never done that, but I know some may have that type of idea. but yeah, you want to make sure you do all your homework. You know, we took a lot of time evaluating that position. We do a lot of diagnosis as far as a checklist of components of things to go out and got to see him live, got to see him a couple times, got to see him inclement weather, got to see him against great opponents, got to see him from behind, got to see him from ahead, got to see him in 7-on-7, like to see him in other sports. I mean, all those things help you build, I think, a better resume for exactly what you're getting instead of just flipping on to ratings and going, okay, I want the top guy. I don't think that works.
The run defense does rightfully get a lot of attention. But with the balance you guys showed this year, you have the right mix to take on kind of a defense no matter what its strengths are.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we look back analytically and we like the balance we showed. You know, I think that obviously we want to get better and better and improve in both sides of that. I think, but being able to have a balance on your offense puts you in position for games like this versus a really good defense in that regard, and puts you in position to be successful.
Shoe was on the other foot last year when Royce doesn't play. It's going to be nice to have it this way where Lane's not playing, where you're going to benefit from a player not playing in a bowl, and Lane's already said he's not playing in this game. But that Scott, who's up against the redshirt rule, is that corner will be.
Right. Yeah, and that's an interesting dynamic. You know, when you're going into a game and you've got I think second team Big All 10 corner, you know, and Big 10 corner, and he said he's not going to play, and that's part of it. You know, you get to game plan it for. I think, you know, last year we were caught off a little guard right before the game. We found out, and I think that changes. That's a little bit different. But they have a good roster and they've got good development. And I think that program's proven they've got a next man up, and so we're not going to take it easy on we're not going to think we go out there and have you know, walk in the park on that in any regard. But you game plan. That's a really good player, you know, and I think that we go into it and we're excited just to get a chance to play, and I think that's the biggest component.